Today we're gonna draw the ultimate nipple baby of a doll industry.
So, I'm Dracula's daughter, Draculaura.
No matter which generation of Monster High we're talking about, or how many times Mattel reboots the franchise, she always remains the undisputed fan favorite. She's one of who gets the most dolls, the prettiest playset, and the first to get her magic power, which is really funny considering she is a witch in Gen 3. The urge to draw Monster High ghouls as Winx Club Fairies actually started about 3 years ago. It was a strange time to be a collector and an artist. The brand new generation of Monster High had just launched, but due to distribution and regional restrictions, the new generation was completely unavailable in my country. And exactly the same time, the Winx Club franchise felt like it was in total decay, trapped in a limbo of questionable attempts to revive the franchise. And as a devoted, lifelong fan of both these universes, I looked at this creative stagnation and felt a sudden wave of artistic rebellion. If the companies couldn't give me what I wanted, I would build it myself. And I wanted to comfort my inner child by combining these two universes together. So, guys, I'm Jelemia. Let's start. If you've been following me for a while, you'll already know how much I love to rumble about my designs and share my endless headcanons. But I recently realized something crazy. I've never once actually talked about this crossover on my channel. And this is wild, considering I already drawn 19 characters for this project, and some of them even have gotten their full Enchantix forms. I go even further. The drawings were so successful that people even created custom dolls. And it's actually my biggest dream to bring this series into life. But Dracula stands out even here too. This is probably the fourth or even fifth time I've drawn her as a fairy, and I'm telling you, the Blackpink curse is so real.
Blackpink in your area?
For a long time, it felt a bit strange to me to talk about my older drawings. They had already been published in my social media, so I just assumed you guys wouldn't find it interesting to revisit them in a video. But then I remembered that this exactly crossover concept are what brought this amazing community together around my art in the first place. And if I don't talk about it, I'm simply missing the chance to share a massive, deeply important stage of my artistic development with you. So, Draculaura. Draculaura is incredibly extra, annoying, and honestly, that's exactly what makes her so relatable to me. She's chaotic, loud, and a bit of childish, and I absolutely love that about her. That's why I decided she had to be a fairy of love. First of all, her iconic heart tattoo was already a major hint, and the second, it was a fun opportunity to tease Cupid's fan. Okay, I'm just kidding. Love is a very versatile concept. Everyone perceives it differently, and love manifests in completely unique ways. That's why I don't think there would be any conflict between their powers if they ever crossed paths in our crossover. While Cupid's magic would be based on more deep, classic romantic feelings, Dracula's magic would be chaotic, loud, and completely uncontrollable, just like the vampire herself. You know, Dracula is one of those characters who wants to help absolutely everyone and use her magic for pure good. But with her, things always find a way to go awry. She has this chaotic, hyper idealized understanding of love, and to the point where she genuinely believes that it's can cure all for every problem in the universe. She is naive, and that exact naivety is where the true danger of her magic lies, because Dracula might simply not realize when she's accidentally making things so much worse. Dracula might even subconsciously interfere in the relationship of those who are around her, including her closest friends, and yes, I'm talking about Frankie, and she fully believing she's just fixing their problems. And there lies the greatest irony of her character. She faints at the sight of blood because she cannot bear the witness of physical suffering, yet her own magical innocence can cause utter psychological chaos. She constantly stumbles about her own good intentions, trying to heal the world with pink sparks and pure heart-shaped energy, completely unaware that emotional manipulation, even if it seems for pure love, it's still a terrifying force. She is a freshman who needs to do so much more than just learn how to control her wings or master the basic Alpheus curriculum. She needs to realize that you can't force the universe to become perfect, idealized romantic fairy tale. And to be honest, watching a character grapple with the dark side of a traditional bubbly and life affirming power is far more interesting than simply equipping her with a basic flawless magical system. And if you're such a big fan of Draculaura as I am, you definitely need to check out my Etsy shop. Over there, you can find a tons of cool Draculaura and other Monster High merch. First of all, I absolutely have to show you these stunning metal cards featuring Draculaura and Elissabat. I also have an incredible series of button pins featuring the Monster High ghouls. Right now, the collection includes 12 different characters, but I'm really hoping to expand it even more in the future. So definitely stop by to check those out, along with wide variety of fun merch featuring Winx, K-pop Demon Hunter, Witch, and so much more. I add a cute freebies to every order because I really care for my clients. Thank you so much. But supporting the channel doesn't always have to be material, and honestly, every single like, comment, or share of this video is an incredible way to help out. If you're not subscribed yet, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps YouTube algorithm to push the channel forward. Plus, I'm always so happy to jump into comments and discuss all those design ideas and headcanon with you guys. Thank you so much for listening and taking an interest in my chaotic stream of consciousness. Now, let's get right back to our favorite pink disaster.
Those weren't jokes. We are serious.
Overall, I don't see any contradiction whatsoever in ghoul existing within the Winx universe. Although the original animated series focused on more humanoid forms of magical creatures, who's to say that vampires or ghouls can be fairies? In fact, in my main Winx rewrite, Icy is actually a vampire. Vampires are incredible, and hey, I'm not the one making the rules. For now, I want this Monster High crossover to be separated from my original main Winx rewrite. But oh my god, I would absolutely love to see how Draculaura and Musa would interact. It feels like they share the exact same level of chaotic energy. I also completely disagree with the idea that all monsters have to be witches in this crossover, even though I've been getting these comments saying exactly that for like past 3 years. According to the actual lore and conventions of Winx World, we can clearly distinguish which character would be fairy and which one would be witches. For example, Draculaura, Clawdeen, Frankie, and others, they are fairies. Even Cleo is a fairy. On the other side, characters like Nefera, Toralei, Melody, Persephone, or they absolutely witches. The topic of defining magical powers for Monster High characters is a massive debate because everyone associates them with a different things. Sure, there are characters whose powers are totally obvious. Lagoona is a water fairy and Abbey is a fairy of ice and snow. Meanwhile, characters like Clawdeen spark a ton of controversy. I've often been asked to draw her as a fashion fairy, and I honestly cannot imagine how the concept of fashion as a literal magical power would even work. But it's definitely an interesting topic to think about. And I leave a full list of the characters I've already drawn and their assigned magical powers down in a pinned comment, so you can check out all of these ideas and complete designs either in separate playlist here on YouTube, or I will leave a link to my Instagram. It's also important to remember that dark fairies absolutely exist in this magical universe. Think of Myrta from Winx Club, for example. They're sorcerers who draw their power from darkness, but choose to use it for good. And Elissabat is exactly this kind of character for me. And in my early design notes, I even wrote that Draculaura has a massive crush on Elissabat in childhood, because Elissabat was always there to help her, protect her, and guide her through life. And before anyone starts throwing stones at me in the comment, no, they're not sisters and it's not an incest. They are childhood friends, and Draculaura isn't even Dracula's biological daughter, so the storyline could totally work. At the same time, though, I'm a huge fan of Claude, especially his third generation version, who is just absolute perfection. So I'm still a bit of torn on which direction to take his romance. But let's be honest, a fairy of love who can't even get her own feelings together, that's the ultimate delicious irony. Please let me know in the comment if you'd like to hear more details about this universe and the character design. Right now, I'm planning to add Twyla and Howleen to the project, and I've actually come up with an incredible concept of their period magic, so I definitely want you to leave comments if you want to see that come to life. Also, let me know if you would be interested in videos sharing my thoughts about third generation of Monster High, because I really do have a lot to say about it. Lately, I was surprisingly bursting with ideas, and I want to share them all with you. I'm so incredibly grateful for your amazing support, and I try my absolute best not to disappear for too long and keep releasing more videos for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon in the next video, my fairies. Bye!